Hej, hej, fint att se ditt härliga ansikte. Mm.
Ja,
Mm.
detsamma. Detsamma till dig.
Ja,
Mm.
vi är så rara och Kristina.
Mm.
Och
Härligt, härligt. Hallå, hallå.
här
Varmt
kommer,
välkomna allihopa.
här kommer lite nya. Ulrika.
Hallå,
Mm.
hallå!
Hallå.
Kommer.
Tack, tack.
Ja, och varmt välkommen som nya medlemmar också,
Ja,
några av er här. Det är ju fantastiskt roligt.
ja. Nikolaus vill man ju se.
Ja,
När man har ett så bra namn. Där, hej, välkommen.
Tjena, tjena.
Välkommen till vår eminenta förening.
Tack, tack. Mm.
Och där också Andreas.
Mm.
Lämplig
Hallå.
frisyr. Lämplig frisyr och fina glasögon.
Ja, tack du.
Och Camilla då? Gömmer du dig bakom ett namn? Eller finns du?
Mm. Det är väl inte illa att finnas, det är ju perfekt.
Ja, det kan räcka. Mm.
Ja, sådär. Då är klockan drygt halv och jag säger varmt välkomna allihopa. Patrik Larsson heter jag, ordförande i föreningen. Det är ett varmt nöje och presentera dagens inbjudna gäst som vi inte bara ska träffa ikväll utan vi ska ha äran att spendera en hel helg med honom om ett par månader. Där jag hoppas jag att ni får se allihopa.
Mm.
Så med det så kommer jag först lämna ordet till Magnus. Så med varmt välkommen Henrik och tack.
Ja.
Tack så mycket.
Mm.
Ja, jag heter ju Magnus och sitter också i styrelsen i NLP-föreningen. Och jag tror att det var för 2 år sedan så fick jag en länk av Patrik om en bok som var på Amazon. Som man kunde ladda ner för $1. Och då gjorde jag det. Och så började jag läsa den där boken. Och insåg snabbt att jag själv då hade 10 år tidigare jobbat med någonting som i ett stort industriellt bolag och där vi skulle jobba med att skapa värdeförsäljning. Det var vårt liksom vad vi skulle göra. Och jag läste den här boken och jag såg jättemånga likheter. Men jag såg jättemånga saker som var mycket bättre än det jag hade varit med och skapat. Och då kan man säga att det kanske var tiden som talade till Henriks fördel. Men jag tyckte den här boken var så bra så att jag skrev till Henrik. Hej, kan vi liksom snacka lite? Och Henrik svarade och vi började snacka. Och vi började snacka. Och vi började snacka. Och jag fick Henrik att komma hit och prata om satisfaction selling första gången. Idag ska vi prata mer om personal leadership och satisfaction selling. Men jag lärde mig jättemycket av Henrik så att jag började applicera det här väldigt mycket på mina egna kunder. Och det är ju så här, om man tror på någonting att det ska fungera så kommer det ju också att fungera. Så är det ju också. Va? Så att när jag började med att jag hade ett företag som har tekniker som åker ut och besöker industrikunder i Sverige. Och ledningen för det här bolaget ville att de här teknikerna måste kunna sälja lite mer. Det är inte bara säljarna som ska sälja utan även teknikerna måste kunna sälja. Så att de bad mig sätta ihop någonting som kunde hjälpa dem att få de här teknikerna att sälja. Och då tog jag hela den här modellen som Henrik då har varit med och skapat tillsammans med sin kompis Josef från US. Han kommer att komma in på honom också. Det här var i april förra året. När vi summerade året nu i december så hade den som hade sålt minst av de här teknikerna hade faktiskt ökat sin försäljning med 1500%. Och den som hade sålt bäst av de här teknikerna hade ökat sin försäljning med 1900%. Och då ska vi ändå komma ihåg att de är nu på 7-siffriga tal. Från att inte ens uppfatta sig själv som säljare till att bli säljare genom att egentligen bara ställa en enda fråga. Och det, vad är det som fungerar bra här? Och genom att komma dit och prata så och vara själv i det tillståndet har skapat det här fantastiska resultatet. Så med inspiration av det så hade jag ett annat konsultföretag, ett tekniskt managementkonsultföretag som har haft det lite tungt de senaste 2 åren. Och de kom också till mig och sa, kan du hjälpa oss? Och då fick jag träffa all personal där. Först i ett webbinar och sen har jag jobbat med ledningen och nu har jag jobbat med försäljningsdelen av dem. Och helt plötsligt så har de inga problem att skicka fakturor. Efter att i 2 år haft jättestora problem för att få skicka fakturor. Och vad gjorde vi där? Ja, men vi började med liksom att segmentera marknaden. Vad finns det för segmentering i den här marknaden för ert erbjudande? Och när vi hade gjort det så började vi titta på, av alla de här kunderna som finns här, vilka skulle vi då vilja jobba med? Och när vi hade gjort det, då kunde vi bestämma sen då, vi analyserar nu de här kunderna. Vad är det vi vet om dem? Och har vi jobbat med dem förut? Vad var vår erfarenhet av det? Och när vi hade gjort det så började vi liksom jobba med kunder. Och när vi kunde börja jobba med kunder då kunde vi börja göra planer för kunderna så vi vet hur vi ska växa tillsammans. De har jättemånga kunder nu där de vet vad de ska åstadkomma tillsammans de närmaste 3 åren. Och allt det här ska ni få ta del av idag. För det kan Henrik berätta mer om.
Fornemt. Tak. Jeg er jo dansk, og jeg kan prate svensk, men jeg vil måske foreslå, at jeg tager det på engelsk. Jeg ved ikke, hvad I foredrår.
Ja.
Ja.
Engelsk.
So let me just put you into gallery. So again, thank you again, Magnus, for your introduction. There's one question I need to ask. That's Lars, Erik, where are you located? It sounds like you have sun still.
He's in Estepona.
I'm currently based in Estepona in Spain. I'm working for a local real estate agency trying to expand, looking at a couple of new properties around here. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so that's why you still have
sun, and it's sort of, I guess for another half an hour, 45 minutes, it will be like. So I'm sitting out here on my balcony so far, so that's nice.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, I just had to ask because, okay,
Yep.
sorry. No, let me get started again here. So I'm Henrik, and I have been working in sales since the early 90s, and the first 10 years, I would say, working with traditional sales. And then in 2000, I was introduced to what we now call the satisfaction selling method. And today I will introduce some of the higher level principles of this model and approach. I will not promise you that we can cover everything in 1.5 hours today. I think that's not reasonable. I think not even in 2 days can we cover everything. But of course, when we hopefully meet in Stockholm in April, we will be able to take a few steps deeper than we can do today. So my ambition today is to give you at least a high level understanding on the philosophy and also some of the basic points so that you can start to play with it. The same way I think Magnus played with it after our first meeting 2 years ago. I have a background as a chemical engineer, so I have mainly been focusing on what I would call technical sales, complex sales, business to business sales. We have over the years also trained people in Telia shops selling mobile phones and things like that. So more transactional sales, where this approach can also be applied. But I would say that the more complex sales you are working with, I think the more this method will pay off and create value. I have a besides working in sales and being an engineer, I have also been fascinated and studied NLP since the mid 90s. And I'm now a certified master trainer from Richard Mandler from the Society of NLP. I have also trained with other branches of NLP, like I have met John Grinder in UK for training. I have trained with John Overdorf and Julie Silverthorne back in Lancaster back in 2001. I have also done some training with Stephen Gilligan at a few occasions. We did his trans camp back in '02, and we also invited him to do trainings in my wife's institute in Hong Kong back in, I think, '04. So I met him a few times. And since 2000, I have been working intensively with master trainer Joseph Riggio, mainly around what you could call more professional or business application of NLP. So today I'm intending to basically show you some snippets of what we are doing. And in the best NLP tradition, my ambition is to first show you something, and then we can unpack it by the end of the workshop. Okay? Before we move into this, any questions before I have the first question for you? Or do you have what you need? So again, here I remind you that you can use nonverbal communication like Lars Erik, you know. So if you have questions, you can nod. If you have enough, you can say, no, I don't have any questions. And the more willing you are to actually let your unconscious move your head like this or like this, the faster we can move. Do you understand? Okay, good. Thank you. I'm just testing the signals. Sometimes when people are on these calls, they sit like this for 2 hours. Um, so I think, yeah. So my first question to you is basically, what have to be true for a person to want to be led by you or to buy anything from you? And this is where you unmute and engage with a lot of energy by your free will. So again, what have to be true for a person to want to be led by you slash buy something from you?
I would say that would be that the person would feel that I care for them. If I don't care for them, I mean, nobody would really bother, would I?
Okay, so I would say that I would say that I think this will for sure help, but is that enough?
No,
No. Okay. So what else have to be true besides that you care for them?
that I would be seen to be knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. And again, my question back to you, is that enough that you care for them and you are knowledgeable?
probably not. No.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. I think it's I think these two things will absolutely help. My question to again, not only to you but to all of you, what else have to be true for a person to really want to? I think these are really good foundations, and I think if, for sure it will not hurt if it's there. But I think it's not enough, at least not for me to want to buy from you that you care and that you know something. I think it's very nice, but not enough.
I think that the person needs to have a belief that there's something better for a start, that there is something more, and the second is that you have this item or this process or this.
Hmm? Yeah,
Hmm?
I think you are very spot on. I think again, if the person believe, wow, there's something better, and if I do something with you, I will get access to what's better. So a future with you will be more bright than a future without you. You understand? So if the person can see two pictures in their mind, they will see that, wow, you can provide them with a lighter picture, with a more attractive picture. So if they go with you, they will get that. If they don't go with you, they will get the darker picture, something which is not as good. And I think what you need to be able to create that belief is, I think, what Lars Erik pointed to is that you need to have some knowledge. You also need to have a sense of caring for that person. So I think that's something which have to be in place for you to create that belief. What do you think about that? Does it make sense? Because for me, this is really the foundation. I don't believe that people can buy anything from you if they don't see that their future will be better with you than without you. So when I interact with a potential client, when I interact with a potential employee or colleague or coworker, I'm really interested in understanding what for them is a brighter future. Because if I don't know that, then I'm left with my own guesswork, my own assumptions. And sometimes I'm really good at making assumptions, and sometimes my assumption stinks. There's this famous quote from an American movie called, I think I don't know, it's a Steven Seagal movie where a train is being hijacked by some terrorists. And one of I think the terrorist leader at one point in the movie say, assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. And that's also true when it comes to leadership and sales. So thinking that you know what the other person want, but actually only basing it on guesswork. And I think again, this is very simple, but I think this is where I think most salespeople are not really acting in an optimal way. Because especially experienced salespersons, because the more you think you know, the easier it is to fall into the trap of assuming that you know what the other person need and want. So being able to go into this, wow, I know nothing state is extremely powerful. And I think when I was attending the training with John Grinder back in '07 in Brighton, that was also one of his central points in what Bandler and he did back in the early '70s when they went out and modeled Virginia Satir, Fritz Perls, and Milton Erickson. When they went in to do this modeling project, they were very conscious about putting themselves in this not knowing state. Because it was only when they moved into this not knowing that they could actually cleanly see and hear what was going on. So a lot of people have tried to model Milton Erickson. Again, Gregory Bateson had sent other students down to model him, and he said that they were not able to model Milton because they already had a theory frame in mind. So the only thing they could do when they went down to find out what Milton was doing was what they were thinking he was doing through their filter. They were actually not seeing what Milton was doing. But what I think Bandler and Grinder succeeded in doing was to actually cleanly see the patterns and hear how he was actually working with his client. So that was a part of their brilliance. And this basically this idea I bring back to life when I meet business people who want to improve better. To start to teach them how they can operate from a position where they're comfortable knowing that they don't know. What do you think about that? So Carl, you at least you have a sense that you agree with the idea. Oh, okay, okay. Or do you know you agree with the idea? It's okay. Yeah. So any comments or questions in relation to this before I move on? Again, here, remember you can move your head slightly. You don't have to go into a deep trance yet. You can stay with me here, okay? That's always the challenge training NLP people. They so easily go into trance. So, so again, so you could say that today I will try to give you some pointers of what it is that have to be true about you, so that you can actually work from this starting point. And one of the headlines of the webinar today was personal leadership slash satisfaction selling. And I think for me, there's not when we look at it from a psychological point of view, there's not a big difference between being really good at leading people and being really good at helping people to buy from you or sell them something. It's basically the same thing. Because if you're a leader, you need people to buy into your vision so that they want to follow you. And if you're a salesperson, you need to be able to lead the customer in the direction so that you can help them get the outcome. Basically the same thing. But of course, it's labeled differently. There's different boundaries around it. But fundamentally, it's the same thing which is happening when you're good. But before we move a little deeper into this, you say one of the headlines of the workshop today was personal leadership. And my first real question here, I would like some answers from more of you, is that if somebody asked you what is personal leadership, how would you define that? How would you define that term, personal leadership? I just want to make sure that we're actually in the same workshop. So Ulrika, so how would you define the word personal leadership?
It's a very difficult question, I think.
Okay. I have tried to phrase it in a way that you can only answer it correct. You understand? You hear? Because I say, how would you define it? You can only be right.
Mm. I cannot answer.
It's okay.
I think it's a really good question, because if you're going to lead others, you have to lead yourself. So that's why. But it's difficult to set some words on it, I think.
Okay. So for you, personal leadership is both about leading others, but also yourself.
I think I have to lead myself to lead others.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. What about the rest of you? What would you say that it means? Yeah.
In general terms, it's about knowing yourself on a deeper level and managing yourself in a conscious way. So that would be personal leadership for me.
Okay. So what is it in the perfect world? What is it that you know about yourself when you master personal leadership?
Well, I will surely know the pros and cons of me and my values, my deeper values, and where I'm at.
Okay. So if you know, when you say the pros and cons, is that what other people will call strengths and weakness, or is it something else?
More than well, that is very simplified in strength, and I think is how I function in relationship to other people, or with the people with different values, or people with the same values. So it's more about navigating than just having the plus and the minuses.
Okay, so it's a more complex knowledge set of knowledge. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and a deeper knowledge, not complex, but deeper.
Deeper. Okay. Okay. Yes. So any other nuances in relation to this?
I would like to add acceptance. Acceptance to my knowing about myself. And in one or another way, see it as the optimal time and place to lead is now and not yesterday or tomorrow.
Okay.
So I accept the fact that now is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because that was my question, what is it that you have to accept, and that's basically now is now?
Yeah, and accept that I have my pros and cons, and I am this, and I don't know everything, and that's okay. Start from here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other nuances you would like to add? Or is this a complete picture which have been created here? Why are you laughing, Roger? It's okay. Yeah, sorry.
No, I would like to add curiosity together with the fact that we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
Being curious opens up doors for new learning, and I would say leadership has to do with that also.
So is that personal leadership, or is that something you need to master to do personal leadership?
I would say it's connected because I would not be able to lead myself unless I am curious about what I don't know.
Yes.
I would say I think it's connected.
Okay, very good. When
I think after thinking
Yeah.
a bit, personal trust in myself, and my trust in myself, and also values. I think value is a important thing.
Yeah.
Self-leadership.
Yeah.
To know where to go, my own compass.
Yeah. So what does it mean to trust yourself?
When I trust myself, I know who I am and what I can. It's difficult with English, but my baseline, what I can do, what I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. If some of you run out of English words, please say it in Swedish. I understand 99.8% Swedish, so it's totally allowed to just throw in some Swedish words.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise in Danish, yes.
What? Sorry?
Otherwise in Danish.
If I would not go there if I were you, but no, Danish is also okay. Actually, it's a very beautiful language. No. So when I get these questions, I see personal leadership on 4 different levels, and I think you have covered most of them here. For me, there is a level 1, which is what I would define as personal leadership on ontological level. And that's the level where you are leading yourself basically to be yourself, home to yourself. So understanding how you can organize yourself so that you're truly yourself. Then there's the next level, level 2, which I define as personal leadership on epistemological level. And this is where you ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? What strategy do I need to develop to actually get that? So that's really what I want and how I can get it. And then actually knowing how to do that. Then there's personal leadership on level 3. This is where you start to lead another person the way they are by bringing them home to being themselves so that they're totally themselves okay. And then you can move to level 4, which is about discussing what it is you want them to achieve together with you or by themselves and how you would like them to do that. Typically, when I speak to leaders, they mainly focus consciously on level 4. How can we set smart goals for people so that they get and start to move in that direction? And when really great leaders function well, they also do 3, 2, and 1. But for a lot of leaders, it's totally outside their awareness, so they're not conscious about it. I think all of you have had the experience of working with a really good leader. And when you are just in their presence, you feel at ease, you feel happy, you feel engaged, you feel energized, and you don't know why. But it's, just that person simply showing up, working with you, make you want to do something. And then you have other leaders that have the opposite effect. And sometimes in organizations, they report back, when the leader is not there, the organization perform better. That's typically because they don't do part number 3 very well. So they basically disturb their employees. I think this has been seen more than once in history. So basically, what we will show and work with in Stockholm in April is how you can actually lead yourself so that you're truly yourself, and then from there make choices about what you want to be able to achieve. And when you have your intent in place, then show you how you can do this process with other people. You could also say that I have given up this idea about doing do-be-do leadership, and instead I'm much more into doing be-do-be-do leadership. Why are you laughing, Ulrika? I get nervous. So, so a lot of people, they think they have to do something to be somebody. "Oh, I have to do this. When this is done, then I'm okay." I had a colleague many years back. She said, "Well, oh, now it's weekend, but I have to go back home and do the shopping, and I have to do the cleaning, and then I can play with my kids." And then I asked her, "Wow, how would it be for you if I could teach you to just be like this, and then clean and shop or play with your kids, whatever you most want?" And then she looked totally confused. "Wow, I have never thought about that." And then, the Monday after that weekend, she came into my office and said, "Wow, Henrik, I have had the most fantastic weekend. Do you know what I did?" "No, I, I just went home and then I played with my kids all weekend. And then I ordered some pizza and I can clean next weekend." Because she suddenly understood that she could actually be an okay mother without cleaning and without shopping. You understand? Yeah. So I'm much more in favor of teaching people to do this, to be who you want to be, and then from there decide what to do, and then be able to do the same with the people around you. You could say that when a person starts from being themselves, being okay, there's nothing they have to do. And when there's nothing you have to do, you can start to focus on what you want to do. So you shift the whole underlying motivation from being an away from motivation to being a towards motivation, as we also talk about in NLP. Simple. Any comments or questions before I have my next question for you?
Well, I just want to add, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we talk about leadership and so on. And when I was working at Sandvik, we always, at week 39, every year, we have the international conference with all the top 100 managers.
Yeah.
And year by year, the record sales was always on week 39, when all the managers were occupied, not disturbing the organization. So that is research. You can use that.
So now what I'm saying is actually you have the proof. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not surprised because sales leaders, they can really be pain in the ass, as we say. It's a technical term. So they can really be disturbing everyone, with their one-to-ones and, sales targets and all of that. Yeah. KPIs. Yeah. So my question here today is basically, I have a few questions. The next question is, when it comes to doing personal leadership as we now define it, so leading yourself and leading other people like they are, what do you find that you already do well? What is it that you think I don't have to teach you? And I think, Magnus, maybe here would be good to just have a short breakout. So put them in groups of 2, 3 people. And what I would like you to discuss is this question. What is it that you do well when it comes to leading yourself and others? What is it that I don't have to teach you because it's already there? And you're muted, Magnus.
Henrik,
Yeah.
put the question in the chat.
Okay. Okay, let me just see here. Chat. It's a very simple question, but yeah. Yes. Okay.
Do you want me to put the people into the...
Yeah, I think just give them 5 minutes in your
Yeah,
group. Yeah, yes.
good.
See you back here soon. Yeah, it's good. You're muted again.
We should stop the...
Recording? Yeah. Yeah. Hi, welcome back. So
everyone
again
back?
here, it's good. So you went into the groups, you had a chance to explain what is it that you already think you do well when it comes to doing personal leadership. Before we get the content, what did you experience as you were doing this small exercise? Okay, do you remember the exercise?
Yeah.
I think it's you have to really think what I'm doing really. What's really I'm doing? I'm not because you're just doing what you used to do, and if it's
Yeah.
good,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just doing. And then to find out exactly what I'm doing, that's
Yeah.
well, that's the question.
Yeah, but I think it's a very normal comment I get because again, and I think that's also why Bandler and Grinder actually added value when they went out modeling some of these genius therapists because they could not explain people what they were doing, and that's why people call them magicians, and because in a way it looked like magic, even though there were some strategies behind it that could be illicit. Yeah, so I get that. Were you able to get to some information, or is it totally unconscious for you?
Yeah. More to be open and not try to detaljstyra.
Yeah. Okay. Not to control or
Yeah.
guide, but to be open. Yeah. Okay. That's some of the things you do well. Yeah. Well, what about the rest of you? What did you experience?
For me, or for our group of three, we had this little discussion about, okay, what what works fine for me every time? Is it in the context of leading myself or leading others?
Yeah.
We have a small discussion about that.
Okay.
And for me personally, I found that the methods or strategies I use when I work as a hypnotist
Yeah.
or hypnotherapist, I think I should use the same strategies when I work with leadership for myself. Yeah.
Okay.
So that became very clear in this context that we just had for a couple of minutes.
Okay. So you actually moved into the next exercise, started to think about, what is it I would like to add to what I'm doing?
Yeah, but if we see, I like to add this this thing that I do with clients.
Yeah.
I like to add that to my self leadership.
I totally get it, but you understand that's in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Because you want to actually move it into your future. So you
yeah,
realize something you do well with others
yeah,
that you now realize, wow, I can also do this one with myself.
yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
yeah. And then I started to think about, okay, so what's the strategy?
Yeah. Okay. So you even moved past the point of knowing what you want.
Yeah,
You even started to say, wow, how can I get there?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what strategy do I use with my clients? I started to think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Interesting. Very, very good. Yeah. Yeah, Carl?
Take care of myself and take care of my employees.
Yeah,
Listen to understand. Not
Yeah.
only listen to understand.
yeah,
And help them and the business to be successful. They help them to succeed.
yes.
If
So-
I can do that in a personal way, then will even the business be successful.
Yeah. And my question is that something you think you actually do well today or something you would like to do?
I think I'm rather good at it already today.
Yes. Okay, good. Very good. Very good. So again here, this is the question I'm always starting from. What is it that's actually working? And typically, when we start with this question, at first, people find, wow, this is not easy to answer. Because again, a lot of people are much more conscious about what's not working. So if I have asked you, give me some examples of where you failed in doing personal leadership, or tell me what you find is difficult when it comes to do personal leadership. For most people, it's much more easy to answer. But for me, that doesn't make it a useful question. I still remember when I was doing Trans Camp with Stephen Gilligan back in 2002. Then he said, remember, what you speak with your clients about, they practice. And what they practice, they become good at. Be aware what you let them practice. And I think that was a brilliant way of phrasing it. So when I work with other people, I don't let them practice what they don't want to be good, what they don't want to do. I'm really cautious about letting them practice what they actually do well so that they do that more. So that's why I start here with this question, even though it's not always easy to answer it. So again, Mats, you said that in this exercise you realized some of the things you do well with your clients, you could also in the future use with yourself. But what is it that you know that you do well when you work with a client?
I think the strategy is to not taking things so serious.
So when you're not taking things serious, then what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm taking the edge or the fright or this big, I got this huge problem. No, you don't have a problem. You experience that you have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think many times I succeed with clients because I make them see that we're all in the same boat. We all have this kind of shit,
Okay.
more or less.
Yeah. Okay.
And it can be more or less, but it can be the thing itself can be small, big, whatever, but our experience of it is the thing,
Okay.
not the thing.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you are good at reframing how they perceive the situation?
Yeah, yeah, as a starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you do that by not being too serious.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And in that way, it becomes really serious.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we pass these assumptions about what's really serious.
Okay.
We
So
go,
when you show up, work with a client and you're not serious, what would you call yourself when you're not serious?
but just what I do with most clients is that they have searched on the net for a hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
but I see myself more or less as an how do you call it? Avhypnotisör.
Yeah, you want to bring them out of the trance.
Dehypnotize.
You want to dehypnotize and bring them into the reality. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just another trance.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I could use dehypnotizing therapist, then I would use that. But people don't search for that on the net.
No. So it looks like you are having fun doing that.
Yeah. And that's part of it, because I make them laugh at their own. Yeah.
So
So
I think
have a
again,
shift.
so what I'm seeing from here, sitting in Denmark, looking at you somewhere in Sweden, I would say when you're not serious, you're humorous. You're having fun.
Yeah.
And this is what allow you to reframe the situation for them.
Yeah.
So that you can bring them out of that trance or into a more useful trance.
And that's really serious stuff.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so my question to the rest of you, what have you observed that just happened here in the last 3 minutes? I'm not asking for your opinion. I just want you to basically, what have you noticed? What have you picked up? So, Nicholas, you were smiling. You must have seen something. So what have you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just laughing because I see the energy and I see what's starting to happen, like seeing possibilities and just sharing what works, what I'm good at. I'm listening to Mats there, and I see the energy. I see his eyes glowing, and that just makes me glow as well. So just listening to people talking about what they're good at makes me smile.
Yeah, okay, but now I didn't ask about you.
Yeah. No, but that's why I'm smiling.
Everything is not about you. So when did the shift happen for Mats?
I would say when he started to talk about what he's actually good at.
I would say that was where we started. So you saw that at a certain point, his whole, the color in his face shifted. He was starting actually to more laugh, and as you say, it even came into his eyes.
Yeah.
Anybody picked it up or noticed it? No. So I think it was when I helped him to really understand what is it that he's calling himself when he's not serious. You understand? The brain doesn't operate with negative very well. So if I tell you, don't think of a blue elephant, don't be nervous. The person have to go to where so when Matt say, wow, I'm starting from not being serious, I trust him, but I want him to put a positive label, not a label with a not in front. And when he got this positive label, suddenly something shifted for him also on a deeper level. And again, I think this is what I really like about NLP, is this capability of really, really listening to the words people are using and to understand if these words actually representing what they want to say or something else. For me, this is some of the very fundamental thing in mastering NLP. And this is the effect of it when you see it's being applied. And this is why I'm so fascinated with this whole toolbox. because I'm not just listening for what a person is saying. I'm much more listening for how they are saying what they're saying. So the structure of the communication.
And and for me, that when I think about it now, we got from the strategy to the value, and then we came all the way to the identity.
Yes.
Yeah. If we look at Dilt's. Yeah.
Yeah. Neurological levels. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we took it to the limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Thanks for now. Bye.
My next question for all of you is a very, very basic question. And I would use this, of course, both today, but also in what I will bring to Stockholm when we meet in April is, what is it that you would like to add to your skill set? So if you could get anything, what is it that you most would like to be able to do when it comes to doing personal leadership or helping other people actually move with you or buy from you? And again, here, Magnus, I would suggest that we just send them into the same groups for 4 or 5 minutes so everyone have a chance to warm up their mind. And when you come back, I will ask a few people about that as well. Okay? So basically, what do you want?
But it was Patrick behind the scenes that made the groups last time, so he will have to do it again.
Okay, then just do groups of 2, 3 people. It's
But
fine.
he's creating the same now.
It's good. Very good. Very good.
And then we stop the recording here, Patrick. Recording.
Yeah, very good.
We have the first group back.
Very good.
And we are not quite sure about the question, what the question was.
That is a typical proactive person, Christina. They jump to the group room and then they start to think about, what should we talk about?
So I think the question is very simple, and that's what is it that you want beyond what you're already capable of?
What do I want?
Want to be able to do when it comes to doing personal leadership. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Matt's already, in a way, said that because he did both exercise in the first exercise.
Yep.
He said, wow, I'm really good at working with my clients because I start from being basically happy. And from there, I help them reframe their situation so that they understand how they can actually move on. And then he said, then it becomes really serious, but in a positive way. And he said, wow, I want to be able to do that with myself. So he did 2 exercises in one, you can say. But again here, before I get some details, what did you experience as you were doing this exercise? Asking each other, wow, what do you want? I will not ask you, Christina, because apparently you didn't knew the exercise.
I think we mostly answered the question.
Okay. So what did you experience as you were discussing with your group the answer to that question? Was it easy or difficult to get to an answer?
It's more trust in myself, trust in my capabilities.
Okay. So telling what you wanted to be to improve or to add actually added confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. What about the rest of you? What did you experience as you were doing this exercise? Roger?
It was as you mentioned earlier. It was easier.
Okay.
What's missing? It was easier to just throw out the word. This is the piece. Yeah. So easier.
Okay. Very good. So for me again, when I work with people and I know, what is the starting point? What are they already doing well? And I then understand where they want to move. Then and only then I can start to make choices about what to do with them. If I don't know the starting point, and if I don't know where they want to end up, how on earth can I know what to actually do in my interaction with them? You understand? And again, coming back to what we discussed early on in this workshop, people are willing to be led by you, or people are willing to buy from you if they can see a brighter future with you than without you. And I think if you ask people, wow, what is it that you want? Most likely they will tell you something that's brighter. I think this is the trick of creating a brighter future with you, because now you know where they want to go. And if they describe what they want, why they're looking at you, unconsciously you will be a part of that positive future. You will be an anchor for that positive future. And this is happening very fast. So let me hear. So Christina, you actually did the exercise. So what is it that you would like to be able to do when it comes to personal leadership, which is beyond what you already master?
To be to always very natural talk about.
Yeah. So to always be very natural.
Yeah, and talk about what's important, for example, helping people without not being in a coach-client situation, but always use NLP, for example.
Yeah, okay. And how would you know that you are operating at that level
Um,
there?
it's a feeling inside.
Yes. Do you notice that you also see a picture there? You,
I don't, I don't know. It's a picture.
it's just because you looked up and then you say,
Yeah,
wow, it's a
I
feeling.
looked up. I didn't see a picture. Maybe, I saw a picture because it was a situation when I was using it.
Yeah,
And then it just came natural, and
yeah,
I felt so good because
yes,
it was so
yeah,
easy
yeah,
and it was so good to do it.
yeah. And you said you could feel it. What would you call that feeling?
A joy and
Yeah.
happiness.
And where in your body do you notice this feeling starting for you?
It's center in me.
Hands, yeah, exactly. Good. I'm not done with you yet, but I just want to include the rest of the group. What did you notice as I was asking these questions?
You had a clear strategy.
What is the strategy?
Finding the picture,
Okay.
finding the emotion,
Hmm?
finding the place for the emotion in the body,
Yeah,
the localization.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's her, I would say that's her somatic strategy for actually
yeah,
knowing that she
yeah,
had got what she want. Yeah.
yeah. So you just follow the line.
Yeah.
Mm.
So basically, when I work with people using NLP, I'm much more trusting what they're showing me than what they're telling me.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I just, in a way, help them become conscious about what they're doing when they are functioning the way they want.
Mm. Mm.
So I see that she look up,
Yeah,
she breathe in through her nose into her chest here,
Mhm.
and when she breathe out, she have this feeling of joy, and then her shoulders do this.
yeah.
You understand?
Mm. Mm.
So when you're like this, what can you do when it comes to leading others? When you're just
Mhm.
like this,
Mm. Great work. Mm. Mm.
Christina.
I do the same in that situation. Do the same.
Yeah.
I get anchored in myself, and I connect with the anchor, and I can share it.
Yeah, okay, very good. So if I could teach you to start from this feeling every time you want to work with us, how would that be?
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is what we would do in the workshop in Stockholm, is to take these ideas, but of course it's easier to do it when we are face to face than just on a screen. I wouldn't say that it's impossible in this space, but of course I can only see you up here. I cannot see how you move your body, your legs, your feet. So there's a lot of information I'm not getting on the screen. But what we do in what I call new NLP is that we are not only working with the language, the words, we are also very actively using what I would call the somatic signals. So what the body is showing us. Because again, you can say that the non-verbal signals are often much more true than the verbal signals. And if I can see the somatic configuration of a person when they have gotten what they truly want, and I can teach them to be like this, it's often much more easy to get what they want. Because now it's back to this bidu bidu. Now she's already the way she want. And from this position, it's more easy to do what she wants to do. Would you say that's true, Christina?
Yeah.
So this is how bidu bidu looks like. But it's it's happening so fast that most people need to see it at least a few times to actually notice it, because it's like, wow, it's happening while I'm asking the question, not after.
That's right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, of course. I think this is why I like doing this. And I have been working with this, I would say, non-stop for the last 25 years. And I have this feeling that I'm just getting started. Because it's so there's so many, everyone is different. So this is also why it's easy for me to go into a situation and say, wow, actually, I don't know Christina. So I have to be attentive. I have to be curious. I have to actually, in a way, look at her with soft eyes. Because if I think I know what a person do when they are in that desired state, then I will not see what's actually happening. I will just see what I expect to see. And I think this is the biggest challenge being an experienced NLP practitioner or master practitioner, is to still stay curious. But I think this is true of any profession. Really, to remind yourself, I know nothing. And of course, it's not true, but if you can believe that going in, having a meeting with a customer, a colleague, a client, having this mindset, you will be able to create different level of results. In a way, you remove the whole friction in the system when you do like that. So any comments before I start to add some theory to this, what we have seen here today? No, it's okay. So can I share my screen here, Magnus? I think again you have to allow me, send a request. Oh yeah, now just a moment. Let me see if this works. Yeah. Can you see this model here, the starting point? Okay. Can you see that? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Mats. You're having fun. It's good. So basically, when I am leading myself or when I'm selling to a person, I can either focus on what I would call the past, what have happened. I can focus on what's happening in the moment, or I can focus on the future, what I would like to see happening. And I'm always very aware of where is the person I'm working with in the sense of the time. Are they in the past, in the present, or in the future? And I don't believe that it's always useful to only be in the present moment. I think there's a lot of value in being able to go back into the past to collect information. It can also be very powerful to go into the future and collect information because there's certain information you would only get in the past, and there's certain quality information that's only in the future. So you need to understand to basically be able to move on the whole timeline. Then there's the other dimension, and that's you can be focusing on what we call the red area or the green area. The PS minus is what we talk about as the present state minus the problem. And this is where most people intuitively start when they work with themselves and others. What's wrong? What is it that I have to get fixed? So this is where you can say classical NLP often starts. Classical NLP does spend a lot of time there compared to normal psychology, but most people who work with NLP have this belief that I have to understand the problem. So what is the limiting belief, or what is the issue? What is the phobia? And then when they know the problem, they ask the client, what do you want? And then we get to the desired state, the DS. And in my experience is that when you start from a problem, then the only thing a person can want is to not have the problem. You understand? So the DS is a future position without the problem. This DS doesn't necessarily equal the life I want. It's just the life I had with one less problem. What we do in new NLP or in Soma Semantic is that we start in PS plus. We start from a position where the problem is not. We start from this position where there's no problems. And when we start from where there's no problem and we ask people, what do you want? Suddenly they can actually share with me their desired state plus plus. So what they truly want. Because from the PS plus, there's nothing they need because they're already okay. So when we work in new NLP, we work from what's good to what's great, and then we help people close the gap between these two instead of closing the gap between the problem and what's okay. Any questions or comments to this? Any questions? No? Any comments? I think Mats are now unmuting. I can see unmuting signals.
Yeah, as long as no one else is taking the initiative.
Yeah.
Because I think when we participate in this kind of events like this webinar, we learn a lot by making ourselves seen, heard, whatever. Interact. So what I like about this model is, this brilliant, it's the same process, but we don't anchor ourselves as negative, and we don't have to go down. And I think that's, it's a great tool, a great perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And my comment is that if you start in the PS minus and just fix the problem, within 3 weeks, you will have the same problem again.
Yeah.
It can be true. It doesn't have to be true, but it could be because in a way, yeah. So I have seen Bandler work, and I see that he have been able to fix problems. But I think even Bandler today, if you see him work today, he will very often start out by, what is the issue? But then right away, he shifts the person's state by using humor or being rude or something. So he distracts people into a PS plus, and then he asks them, "What do you want?" And then he actually do a lot of the works he's doing up here. But most people don't notice it because they hear that, oh, we start with a problem, and then they get too serious about the problem. And that's why what they do is not always working as well as what he's doing because he understands that, you don't change people unless they are having fun. People cannot learn something if they're in the red, if they're in a inhibitory negative state. And this is also why it's so important that kids actually enjoy their time in school, because kids that's having fun in school learn much faster than kids that's not having fun. It's so basic. When it comes to working with sales, I would claim that 99 out of 100 sales models teach salespeople to work from PS minus to DS. What keeps you up at night? What's the challenge you have in your business? What's not working? What's limiting you from getting the growth you want? Wow, basically, where have you fucked up? And then you ask them, what do you want? I want to get rid of this problem. Good. And then as the salesperson provide a solution that bring the client from the problem to what's okay. What we do in the satisfaction selling methodology is that we bring the customer into PS Plus as a starting point so that they start to feel good about themselves and their life and their work and everything. Because for most people, much more is working than not. And when you bring a customer into the PS Plus, now they can articulate their dreams, what they truly want. And if you can help them not only getting their DS, but what they truly want, they will associate you with creating higher value than your competitors that's only bringing the DS. And they will be much more likely to want to work with you again because this was a much more pleasant experience than starting from problems. Because if every time you need to resell or upsell to a client, you need to bring them into a negative state to motivate them, they will end up associating you with pain. And that's not useful if you want to build healthy, long-term, positive customer relationships. So selling in the green instead of the red is still a new idea, even though it has been around now for 30 years. I was doing training in Barcelona last week for a global team of sales leaders, and none of them have heard about that you can start from what's working instead of problems. And all of them liked it. When they realized, wow, actually, we don't have to start with pain. We can actually go out and bring the customer into a nice, positive state. And I still remember one of the managers said, but Henrik, what impact will this have on our salespeople? I said, so what impact do you believe it will have on a salesperson's life to go out and work with the customers in the green instead of having to start every conversation in the red? It will have a significant positive impact on their life. And what we typically see, we saw that when we worked with Telia some years back, that the retention of people increased dramatically because suddenly it was much more pleasant to come to work because they didn't have to scare the customer into buying. Very simple idea. So I think this is what I have been doing with you today. Sorry to tell you. So my question back to you, what do you take from these almost 1.5 hours we have spent together today? I know time move fast sometimes, and for me, like, wow, yeah, it's almost 8 o'clock. But what do you take from today? I just unshare this here.
And let everyone talk now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who wants to start?
Yeah. So Roger, you're sitting there, you're thinking, I can see it. What do you take from today?
Your picture was very illustrating,
Okay.
and I realize what I'm doing, that to keep my state positive,
Yeah.
I can feel and recognize when I'm starting going on into the red area, so to say.
Yeah.
And then I do a very quick jump up to the
Yeah.
green and
Yeah.
have an anchor there. And
Ah.
it's a physical thing inside me. I do it like this, but it's
Yeah.
funny. An anchor up there, and
Very
well,
good. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I think it's a great sales pitch for the event in April.
Okay. Sorry. But you understand that I have really tried to make it explicit, but what about it makes it a good sales pitch for the April workshop from your point of view?
You did what you're preaching for.
Okay.
You used the model.
Yeah.
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 So hopefully we all here see a brighter future in April, together with Henrik. He just told us so. And besides that, I also started to think about a model that I'm using that I like to connect with this. But that's for another time.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mats, and thank you for playing along. I know I'm not easy to be with, but I'm just a crazy Dane, or half Swede actually. So you should be able to relate to me at least half of the time.
I can. I'm a maid in Denmark.
Okay. Oh, it's good. Very good. Yeah. We have a lot of cheap beers, so maybe it was a festival, back in the 60s. I don't know.
Fler reflektioner.
Yeah. Yeah.
One little thing that I thought you combined beautifully was this idea on the focus on the positive. But I think that really relates very much back to Richard Bandler as well, and his idea of what is NLP. It's a theory of what works, which is very, very essential. I mean, it's nothing else. That's just it. It's not a science. It's not this or that. A theory of what works. And I think you described that very, very well. I mean, so I'm looking forward to a couple of more hours in April.
Yeah. I have one small thing I would like to just show you before we end today, because I have done a few books, and if some of you want to prepare yourself for April, I think it could be good to not read all of them, but maybe select a few of them, because I think the more you know stepping into the workshop, the more I think you will also take out of the workshop. And I will just very fast go through the books I have done over the last few years. The latest one, which just was released a month ago, Walking with Chris, is a book about a salesperson that transitioned into becoming a sales leader. And she is using the mentor, the coach Chris, to help her with this transformation. This is a novel, our second novel. The first novel we did was Smoking with Joe, which is about a sales manager that's being introduced to the satisfaction selling by Joe. And this is also a story. So if you like to read a story where we embed the ideas, then these two books are really good. If you want the heavy satisfaction selling introduction, we have this book on Amazon, Satisfaction Selling. which is basically outlining the 7 steps of the satisfaction selling method, the theory behind it, and also how come that from a neurological point of view, working in the green is more effective than working in the red. If you're more into sales leadership, then it's the positive activist, which is basically about how to set up a sales organization and how to have one-to-one review meetings where you help salespeople work in the green. So this is this book. We did a pilot project with the military a few years back, and I did this book with a colonel, Mental Fitness for Warriors, which is about how to use these ideas, but in how to basically lead yourself to be okay, even in situations that's not okay. And then we are back to Do What You Do Best, Volume 2, which is the basic toolbox of new NLP. So where there's all the basic NLP tools, but framed in the green universe. And then we have Do What You Do Best, Volume 1, which is basically a book explaining why do we believe that working in the green is better than the red, and where do we have that idea from. And then the first book we did, we have just relaunched it on Amazon for Valentine's Day. In Danish, it's called Single på sidste vers. In English, it's Ready for Love. And it's basically a coaching book for people who are singles that want to no longer be single. So if you enjoy being single, don't read this book. Okay? So, very simple. But I think again, Magnus, do you have a few words before we end here at 1 minute too late?
Someone else who wants to share their experience of today? If not,
I think Ulrika is trying to unmute.
Bra.
I can see her unmute signals.
You saw the signal. That I take the green and red picture with me because I also work as a special educator, and that's how we work with kids. So why don't bring it in? It's fantastic, I think. Thank you very much, Henrik.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Good. Someone more? Otherwise, we have to say thank you very much to Henrik. It was a pleasure to have you here, and I think you have given us new perspectives on how you can manage to do things in your life. And we hope that we can meet all of you again the 25th and 26th of April, where we meet at the Telia head office in Solna. So that will be a 2-day session, including the annual general meeting for the society. And also that we meet again 17th of March, when we will meet with Dennis Larsson, who will talk about values, and he will give us, he have developed a new model that he will share with us, and therefore that session will be 2 hours. So with that said, thank you very much for today.